Ciao ragazzi, I am Anthony. To my somewhere, I'm not good at pointing when it comes to screens, is Bruno. How are you, Bruno? Look at that smile. How do we compete with that smile? What the hell?
I'm good. I'm good. It's good to have the OGs, the originals back, back together again. I've got Ale here and the new addition, Mo, our analytics, stats, and breakout guy. But yeah, no, it's good to be back.
Awesome,
good to be
bro.
back.
It's
Another
good to have
win.
Alessandro. It's good to have Alessandro, man, all the way from San Francisco. Despite all the legwork and footwork you've put into Inter Worldwide, very rarely do we get to see your face, bro. So the face is here.
Well, it's not. You're not missing a lot, even if you don't see my face. Don't worry.
And our brother Mo, so analytical to the point where he needs to put the league table in the background of his green screen. That's what you call true Mo, right there. Are you flaunting something, bro? Is there something that we're supposed to be looking at?
Well, we can see it right there. Right there, guys. It's right there.
I love your confidence, bro. And I hope that we're not redoing podcasts or videos in 3 or 4 weeks' time looking at each other like, boys, what the fuck is going on? This can't be happening. So before we move into
You were pointing at Milan anyway.
This is because they're 9 points behind us.
No, okay. we'll get to that. We'll get to that. And
10 points. They're 10 points.
Okay, I love that. I love the confidence about the head-to-head. 10 points behind us.
There's 10 points.
Thank you.
100%.
What's better than 3 wins? 3.5 wins.
100%.
Yes.
I'm going to start the chat by just putting to welcome to Bruno Worldwide because he's just so awesome. He reaches every corner of the world. But other than that, let's move straight into the 2-1 victory against Torino, a match which I said in my match reaction really needed a moment of quality and class to get us the win. Without that moment of world-class quality, we don't get 3 points. Fortunately for us, we had 2 world-class quality players right there in Alexis Sanchez providing the assist. And gentlemen, the more I watch that goal back and forth, I go, holy shit, Lautaro Martinez knew exactly what he was doing from the moment Alexis Sanchez picked up that ball. Very well done. Let's go to Bruno first, but, you know, keep it brief because we've got a lot to talk about.
Look, in school, I wondered why one of the subjects they taught us was science. And Conte's taught me that chemistry is everything in this team. That's where I was going to. He must have paid attention in science class because this team have a chemistry like no other. Every player knows their role. Every player is no bigger than the player next to them. There's no big egos in this club. And each player knows their role and each player knows they're as good as the person they're standing next to. And that's what Inter's done so well under Conte. He's revolutionized the way Inter look at themselves. When Icardi was there, he was a sickness to the club. When Perisic initially was there, and you see this happening where someone thinks they're bigger than the club, or someone thinks I've been here longer, blah 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 blah. But he has turned this team around with the likes of Christian Eriksen and Lukaku, Martinez. Icardi's protege was thrown into it when all of that shit hit the fan, and it's phenomenal. And all the gears seem to be working, and the media's reporting, wages don't need to be, haven't been paid, all of this crap. But at the end of the day, normally it's the players who make the noise about not getting paid, but you can see the players are playing with passion. And the players know how much this means to them. And I just think, Conte took it a bit easier against Torino. We were fortunate enough that their COVID cases impacted them. Belotti didn't come on until the 89th minute. So we were fortunate in that regards. But overall, 3 points. Milan dropped points. I don't think there's much of a better ask to get from this. Another, it's just unstoppable. Simple as that. What do you think, Ale?
I agree with you 100%. And before the game, there was more than one of our supporters, also influential one, they were saying like, oh, we're gonna lose against Torino, we're gonna lose against Torino. There's no way we're gonna win, and all these things. But I don't know. It sounds crazy, but I don't know when we can lose some points because this team uh, is a team. It's not like there is one good player or a couple of good players and they're the only one that can create something. Right now we have a group, we have a real team, and no matter who is playing and no matter who is coming from the bench, we are always uh, creating something dangerous, and it's amazing to see. Sorry, but my daughter is leaving right now, so I'm in the garage and it's cold, so I need to wear something for my head. But no, it's what Conte created. It's amazing, and I have to admit, I thought not maybe not to lose this game or to draw for sure. I thought this against Torino was going to be a draw, and winning this way, it feels even better. Because Sassuolo needed those points. Sorry, Torino needed those points, and Sassuolo doesn't actually need points at the moment. So, and they're gonna play. I mean, we're gonna go into that stuff later, but winning these 3 points against Torino in this moment, and seeing the other teams playing the way they're playing is it just gives me more and more confidence. That's all. What do you think? Mo?
Uh, if I'm going to talk about this game, what this game taught me is one thing, that there's no easy game in this league. It doesn't matter who you play, how many players they're missing. When some teams, when they play Inter, they just put everything on the table, they leave everything on the field. We won this game in the 86th minute, so that means it's not easy. We have to work hard for every single game coming in. I know that I'm one of the optimistic guys here, putting the table behind me and thinking that we're 9 points, we're winning, but think that every game will need to put the work, because I saw some Inter fans before the game, they were very confident that we're going to win this game. Maybe Alessandro touched that some Inter fans said we're not going to win, but I thought that the majority of the fans said that we are going to win this game easy, including Anthony, who actually, when we were talking, Anthony, before the game, you said I want 2-3 goals in the first half, so rest the players. You remember that? Me and you talked about this. But this game taught us that this is not the way to go to the game. There's no easy game. And I think Bruno said that we did not go full on in this game. I agree with Bruno that we did not go full on. We should have gone in a better mentality towards this game, because if Lautaro did not produce that magic nick movement to put that ball, which is pretty hard to produce, I don't think we would have won this game and would have been crying about an easy 3 points that we lost.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. And you know what? Up until that 84th minute, man, I was sitting on my couch pretty deflated. I'm like, holy shit, I need to face a Monday after this. And the whole week is just going to seem so long. And then the magical thing happens when you score a late goal. You feel like you just woke up from an 11-hour sleep and you've just had a full feast of protein and everything's all good once again.
Be right back, guys.
Cool. And like, honestly, I would agree with what Alessandro said. It was like the manner that we won made it even more sweeter, because that's the mark of champions. That's the luck of champions. I want my boy Bruno to get as much in as possible before he needs to leave. So speak a little bit about the mark of champions, Bruno, about, you know, I know you're feeling it. I know you're feeling that championship sort of feeling in this squad. And then give us a small look ahead to your preview against Sassuolo, because I'm mindful of you needing to depart after this last speech. He might also have one other thing he wants to mention.
Yeah, no, definitely. Look, I feel that we went into the game with our egos that we're going to win this. It's first, third, last, and we thought, you know, it's going to be a walk in the park. And that first that first half really proved that it's not. Now, when you're coming up against a team like Crotone, Torino, Parma, Benevento, Cagliari, Spezia, all of those bottom teams, this is the time of the season where you cannot underestimate. They're fighting to stay in the top flight, and it means a lot more than remaining in the Serie A. It's a massive, teams like Torino are going to lose their players like Belotti because they're going down to Serie B. He doesn't want to stay there, especially if he wants a spot in the national team. But then we look forward to Sassuolo, who at the moment have Torino, I think, in 2 days' time, and then face Inter. Yep. And you look at Sassuolo's position on the table, they're really out of the relegation battle, and they're also out of European contention. So they're just getting the games in. And these are the games as well that Inter can't underestimate. In their last 4 games, Inter has not lost to Sassuolo, but we do remember that there was a period where Sassuolo would just dominate Inter. And it was frustrating. But I think your comment of this is the mark of champions, it really hits the nail on the head. And you look to teams like former champions like Juventus. More recently in their Champions League, they underestimated their opponent. They underestimated a 38-year-old defender. And when you underestimate your opponents, that's when you're at your weakest. And Inter are giving all the teams in the Serie A the respect they deserve. And I made this comment in our podcast a couple of weeks ago, last week I think it was. Inter have not been behind in a fixture since the Roma game. So I think it was January, right?
Has it been that long since we've been behind in a fixture?
Since we have been behind. They scored the opening goal, and since then, in a Serie A fixture, Inter have not been behind. Juventus, Udinese, every team we've played against. So Inter have gone from this Pazza Inter where 1-0 turns into 1-1 in the last 10 minutes. They've gone from that to 1-0. I can close my eyes and have a sleepy because we're going to be I'm comfortable that we can defend. I'm comfortable that we're not going anywhere. And I'm comfortable that we're probably going to push for another goal because we're defending so well. And we've seen that happen phenomenally. But another thing I want to mention before we get to the end of the season, and, the players like Ranocchia, Vecino, Gagliardini, Handanovic, these players have been around through the tough times. And I think they should all get their run on the pitch so they all qualify to get their champions medals at the end of the season, because we got to look as far back as the 2011-12 season where we've done nothing. And everything since then has been a lead up to now. We've got to thank all 3,000 managers we've had since then, and all 6,000 players we've had since then. The players, they've all led to where we are now. And yeah, it's I like that comment there. The Sensi, he, I feel, is the last weapon in Conte's arsenal that is yet to see, that he's yet to use. We saw when we struggled defensively, he brought in Skriniar, and we've been a rock ever since. When we struggled attackingly, he brought in Eriksson. We've been scoring goals left, right, and centre. I just feel Sensi's that last element, and I feel, yeah, he's injured 24/7, but I also feel he's keeping him in his back pocket. One, he's not risking him, but two, it's that last trick he's got up his sleeve to pull out against Napoli when we face them and we're struggling for a goal, or Roma, or Juventus, or Sampdoria, or any team. He just adds that element. But I don't know. I am so quietly confident, and I shared with you earlier this week, Anthony, the betting odds on Inter to win the Scudetto. And for every dollar you put on, your return is an extra 16 cents. That's how confident the bookies are in Australia that Inter's got this wrapped up. So quietly, I'm getting that confident. I don't know. With Sassuolo coming up, we've got Sassuolo, we've got Bologna, then we've got Cagliari. And in my eyes, that's 9 points, and our winning streak goes to 11 straight games. Then we've got Napoli, Spezia, Hellas Verona, Crotone, Sampdoria, then Roma, Juventus, Udinese. We're lifting the trophy up in one of those 3 games. I just
Wow,
hope
big call, and you'll be made accountable because this is Inter Worldwide. We hold everybody accountable for the shit that spits out of their mouth. So Bruno, thank you so much for joining us. If you do need to duck out within the next few minutes, please do.
I will be heading off, but
Beautiful.
thank you for having me, and I'll definitely be watching this back. See you guys. Ciao.
See you, bro. Buzz you soon. Anyway,
Hold on. What's your prediction? It's gone.
he cheaped out, bro. He always does that, man. So don't take it personally. Alessandro, let's go over to you in terms of looking ahead to Sassuolo. Now, I said this earlier as well. The victories that we've been having recently, even the one over Atalanta, Parma, the 3-1 against Lazio was spectacular. I considered those like inching towards the title. Well, for me, Torino was the first step towards the title, and pretty soon, my brother, 3 points aren't just going to be steps. They're going to be mountain leaps towards this objective. And we're getting really close to that point of the season where we can start saying 3 points here, guys. It's like leaping a real big mountain towards that title. So what are your thoughts going into Sassuolo, man? Do you reckon we can get the job done?
Yeah, I was mentioning a little bit earlier. I think so, just because Torino needed those points. They are in a tough situation right now, while Sassuolo, it's right in the middle, and so it's not, it doesn't need to prove anything. Of course, if they can win at San Siro like they did many times in this year, good. But they're not gonna fight to get those points. Those are not the games they have to win. While we do have to win, first to keep the streak, second because we have a whole week to get ready, and also because after that it's gonna be a break, and it's not, it's not good to lose before the break. You never know how that can mess up the player's head. So I think we need to win, and I think we should. My only concern right now, I saw Barella and Lukaku both pretty tired. Against Torino, I think what was one of the worst game from Barella. And you know how I love Barella, but it was kind of tired. We made a lot of mistakes. I understand was the tension, maybe also the weather. I know that there was a lot of wind, but that can be, excuses. I understand the first 5-10 minutes, but then you adjust to that. So Sassuolo is playing midweek. We have the whole week to get ready. At the moment, we don't have any new injury, so we should be there. We should be ready to face them and bring home these 3 points. That's it. The only thing I want to mention on, just because it just mentioned Sensi and also was in the comments. I don't think at this point is a physical issue, but it's more a mental issue with Sensi. And bringing Sensi in big matches, I don't know how can be helpful for him. I think he should be reintroducing the team in smaller games rather than big games. I think, I don't know, that's not my job, but if you bring him Sensi when we are winning, I don't know, 2-0 against Sassuolo, it's very different than if you bring him against Napoli and we are 0-0 and you need to find something to do. It's just to ease him back in on the field, and I think at that point you can bring what Bruno was saying. But otherwise, I think is done. This player is done.
Yeah, I agree, man. He's going to come on the field if we're leading Bologna by 2 or 3 goals, or if we're winning by 2 or 3 goals against Hellas Verona, and there's 15 minutes left on the clock, and we're just looking for some Borja Valero sort of experience there in midfield. To be honest, we really couldn't have pictured this happening, Ale, unfortunately, because I think back to those first 7 or 8 games in the beginning of last season. I'm thinking, holy shit, this guy's our best player. And we've gone from losing our best player to still being able to recuperate and come back from that. So, you know what? Full credit to us for doing that. And if Sensi gets minutes, I wouldn't be surprised if what Bruno is saying is true, because, Conte is a very calculated person and he really knows how to make everybody feel as though they're a part of a team and part of a project. It wouldn't surprise me to see, him going up to Sensi in every training session, just in his ear going, "You're still great. You're still a part of my plan, blah, blah, blah," because it's a part of Conte's plan to act in that manner. Would you agree?
Yeah, no, totally. I agree. I don't think it's anything to do with the coach. I don't think it's anything to do with the locker room or anybody else. I think it's just after you get injured over and over again. I think first of all you're scared to get injured again, because at this point, just from the Juventus game of last season, I don't know how many times he got almost ready to come back and then got injured again. So I think that's the main reason. You're not confident in your body anymore, and then I don't know, maybe also seeing the team that keep winning without your help. Let's say, like, you almost think like, well, they don't need me at this point, so I'm not gonna risk it, because there was a stretch of games where it was supposed to play, and then every time, like a pre-game or the day before the game, he was like, "Oh, I feel something," and then it ran the test and he got nothing. So I think for that reason, I think it's just a mental, something is not right, because it doesn't feel ready, but he's actually ready.
Fair enough. Let's go over to Mo. Mo, what are your initial thoughts leading into Sassuolo? Feel free to comment on the Sensi incident. And you know what? There's a really good comment coming in from Indraro Hari, 1908. Indro Hari, sorry, who's always on these chats as well. And I'll definitely get you to piggyback on the back of that comment as well.
So I'm reading the comments. Gets a red card against Cagliari. Yeah.
Yeah, we all thought it, man.
I don't want to touch on this. I tweeted something. I actually copied the IFAB rules and I put them there, and it's exactly what the IFAB said. There should be a red card, but it didn't happen for some reason, because it's Cristiano Ronaldo. Going back to the Sassuolo game, it's very different than the bottom of the table teams, as everybody said. We play these teams way better than every other team, because these are attacking teams. They are free-flowing football, and we thrive, and our midfield and our forward thrive against teams like this, especially also the fullbacks. Our fullbacks are quick and they can go forward with the ball if they have spaces, and I think this is why we should have an easier game than the Udineses and the Torinos and the Parmas. This should be an easy game, because it's gonna have a lot of space for our main weapon, which is Lukaku on the counter, Hakimi from the right, and even now Perisic. I'm not worried about this game. I want to win, but I'm not worried as much as I'm worried when I play a bottom team that is going to sit back and not give us any space. That's one of the problems that faces Conte's teams because of the 3-5-2 and pushing the wing backs up and pushing the teams to their 18. There's not a lot of space. As for Sensei, again, he is the least of my worries now since there is 11 games left. But I would like to see Sensei getting some minutes for one of two reasons. And my first reason is I don't want his value to drop. I want Inter to be able, if they decide to part ways with Sensi, I don't want us to sell him for 5 million euros and we bought him for 25. If he gets some minutes at the end, he's going to show his quality, and the mid-table teams are going to come and knocking, and maybe even we can loan him to the likes of Roma, Napoli. Like, I'm not calling these mid-table teams, but sometimes big clubs, they loan players to each other. Maybe it will work out for him somewhere else, and maybe he'll come back or something. But if he doesn't get any minutes, there is no guarantee that anybody will come for him, and there is no guarantee that he will play next season. And this is my point with someone like Sensi, who's an injury prone, which is the same in January. Vecino, nobody came and wanted Vecino because of the injury thing. And that's what I think about Sensi. But again, he's the least of my worries now. As for the Scudetto race, I think the Scudetto is between April 7th and April 18th. It's between the Juventus play in Napoli. So I think the Scudetto race is gonna most likely be 50% decided by Napoli's hands. If Napoli does something, great. If not, it has to be us going forward and maybe winning it in Torino, which is going to be a dream coming true if we can win it in Torino. That would be great for us.
As opposed to winning
Sorry,
it in Torino,
can I butt in?
I don't. Yeah, of course.
I don't think Napoli is going to be the one deciding the Scudetto, just because I don't see either Juventus or Milan being able to do a streak of positive results as we did. I don't think this Juventus is going to be able to win all the games, like 8, 7, or even 6 in a row, like we did twice in this season. So I think they're going to drop more points, and not because of Napoli. That's all.
Fair enough, man. Nothing would make me happier, but I think as most Inter fans are just preparing for the worst. As soon as they got eliminated from Porto, my mind just automatically said, okay, here come 13 straight wins in Serie A. Let's make sure we can at least win 10. But I get exactly what you're saying. This Juventus team doesn't look like it's going to be able to put this sort of streak together because Pirlo puts out inconsistent lineups as well, and the team chemistry just isn't there yet. But, you know, not too much more to comment on that. I would definitely agree with Mo with what he said about being less worried about teams that are going to sit back and require our wing backs to, you know, penetrate a little bit more and not have that free space behind the defenders. For that reason, if we collect 3 comfortable points against Sassuolo, as I mentioned before, I just feel like it's mental and psychological leaps. Every game represents a huge leap forward for us now. And a lot of Inter fans were a little disgruntled at the fact that the Juventus and Napoli game was postponed once again. For me, it actually doesn't bother me anymore because we have that much of a cushion. We should be able to keep that cushion just by doing our jobs. And to be honest, if I were Juventus, I'd much rather beat Napoli and be -7 than keep looking up at a figuratively speaking +10. So I think with what the boys are saying, Alessandro saying it won't come down to Napoli and Mo saying we'll get the points against Sassuolo, I think it's just a matter of us doing our job as league leaders and winning the matches that remain. I'm going to go to Mo next for our topic. We've kind of already talked about the squad in a sense as we were talking about the 2 games, but Christian Eriksen came out this week and said he feels fantastic. The knee's great, and more importantly, he is super happy. I think he might get the start against Sassuolo, and I think it's really great to see because I don't think Christian Eriksen is going to be on the market at the end of the season, Mo. I think he's an Inter player.
I think so too. Christian Eriksen only won with Ajax. He went to Spurs and he never won anything. Yes, they played great football, Champions League final. If we win Scudetto, Christian Eriksen is going to feel this was the right decision. This is the trophy for a big team, and we're going for more. And Conte said it, this is not the end of the project. This is the beginning of the project. So if you are the Denmark captain and one of the biggest players in the Premier League in the last 5 years based on numbers, and you come to Serie A and you win the league in your first season, let's not talk about that 6 months in the last season, and going for Champions League next season, and you think that Inter winning the Scudetto will add some financial to the club, financial support, we might go for the quarterfinal. I hope for the quarterfinal, semifinal of the Champions League. If we get better, maybe more depth in the squad, I think this guy, Eriksen, will feel I'm in the right project. Why would I go somewhere else where I still have to prove myself? I did the hard work here, and I'm here already proven. The fans love me, and the coach now has a trust in me. I'm going to stay and then be part of this project.
Yeah, well said, man. I would agree 100%. Alessandro, going over to you next in terms of who else I wanted to speak about in this squad. Alexis Sanchez. Yeah, he puts a heavy price tag on his wage. I love this guy coming off the bench. I think there is no better unpredictable forward in European football to bring off the bench than Alexis Sanchez. He will confuse everybody around him. The guy is not just a forward. He's a midfielder. He picks up the ball in an attacking midfield position. He can play a trequartista. He can play out on the right-hand midfield side where Hakimi was playing, and then tell Hakimi to shift up while he directs traffic as well. Alexis Sanchez off the bench, a player that wins you titles and wins you games. So despite what his his wage says, it's important to keep him next season as well, yes?
Yeah, absolutely. And another episode, I think we talk about sliding doors, and both Sanchez and Eriksen were with one foot out of the door. Sanchez was supposed to go to Roma for Dzeko, and then there was the money, so he had to stay. And same, Eriksen was supposed to go back to Tottenham or PSG, and then there was the money, so it stayed. And then something clicked, and both those players just realized that they can actually do something good, and Conte, training after training, finally they figured out something. I don't know exactly what, but they figured it out. And Sanchez is at the beginning of the season, everybody was complaining Conte doesn't have a plan B, piano B, a plan B, and Sanchez is that plan B because it does something that other players cannot do, and that is not linked to Lukaku, because most of the time we have three ways to score, but all three ways are around Lukaku, and Sanchez break that, and it's impossible. I mean, it's possible. It's very difficult for the defense to take any counter attack on that, because he can basically play wherever he wants. Of course, we can. It's hard for us to start the game in that way because, as we know, Conte plans everything ahead, especially now that has a week to prepare a game. I'm sure he knows exactly what's gonna happen or what's supposed to happen, and and with Sensi, you don't have that. Um, how can I explain? Sanchez doesn't follow your plan. Sanchez sees something the other players can't see, and does that cross. Where if it was another player, it would play the ball, a pass to Lukaku or another striker, and then the ball would go somewhere else. Because I mean, we saw in the same part of the field, if you have Barella, rather than do that cross, he goes back or passes the ball to Brozovic or switch to Perisic, and or it just passes to Hakimi that was trying to cut inside right next to him. So uh, it's something that we missed. It's something that other teams don't have, especially in Serie A. A player like that coming from the bench, and that's another reason why I'm pretty confident that in the long run, from here to the end of the season, we have a very good chance to keep this distance from the second and third position.
Yeah, that would be
As
great.
somebody was saying, I don't want to jinx it too much.
Yeah, 100%, man. We don't want to jinx it, but all we're doing is talking about in context what's going on, and in context, we're winning these games, we're putting together the winning streak, so we're just recognizing the real, I guess. What else we shouldn't talk about too much is the misfortunes and shortcomings of our rivals. Just yet. Don't get me wrong. If all goes well at the end of the season, I'll probably call in sick for 3 days at work and just do a 3-day bender on this channel. But Mo, we need to talk a little bit about the results for Milan and Juventus. First of all, Juventus now out of the Champions League. 3-1 winners over Cagliari. Expected result. Ronaldo with a very, very good performance. No problem calling him out for a first half hat-trick. That's brilliant efforts. Typical Cristiano on his behalf. But, Alessandro said he doesn't expect Juventus to go on a winning streak, just because they're out of Europe. Would you agree with that, my friend? And also, how do you see AC Milan recovering from this latest 1-0 loss to Napoli, which, with Ibrahimovic not in the picture at the moment, sporadically, Pioli not the best manager in the world. Where's the leadership coming from? Who can re-steer this ship, bro? Because at the moment, it looks like it's can't recover.
So I'm gonna start with Juventus, and what Alessandro said is true on paper, but some big teams, they just can't put the wins together. But I think Juventus has a much harder run than us. They have Atalanta, Fiorentina away, and they have Milan, and there are too many hard games for them. But you never rule the heart of Juventus from winning. They have this winning mentality in the club, and it doesn't matter who's coaching. They always have this thing, and Cristiano is pushing the team, even though I think he's disrupting Pirlo's plans, but he's pushing the team. He's scoring left and right, but I think Pirlo has a way of playing, and having somebody that does nothing defensively when you don't have the ball, limit your options in practice and in training about what you can do when you lose the ball, because you're literally playing with 10 players instead of 11 when you lose the ball. And that shows in some of the playing against stronger teams, with what happened against Hellas Verona. So I'm not going to rule Juventus out until they're actually out. We have seen this before. Juventus can put a run together, even though they have not won more than 3 games in a row this season, but they were focused on a lot of other things. And now I think they have healthy people coming back to the squad. I think they can put some wins together. But again, if we win our games, as Anthony said, we shouldn't be scared of anyone. It's just do your job, play as you are, and then you're good. As for Milan, I feel sorry for Milan fans because they actually believe that they can win the Scudetto. And maybe they could have, but when you have, I think, your 2 best players out for that second half of the season, Ismail Ben Nasser and Ibrahimovic, you can't win it. It's exactly as if you ask Inter, put Lautaro and Lukaku out for 10, 15 games, and it's really hard. Milan, Theo crying about the referee and all the stuff. From Indro, yes, but you have to feel for the team, right? For Milan, yes, we don't want them to win, but also they have a very depleted squad, right? Like the squad looked like shit last game. I was like, what is this? This is the second place team. It's impossible, right? They have, without Ibrahimovic, without Ismail Ben Nasser and Romagnoli and Kayer, there's no team, to be honest, with Calabria. Imagine how many injuries they have, right? It's just terrible for them. I fear for Milan going fifth because I love Serie A and I want Milan to go to Europe, to Champions League next year. I know that you guys, some of you, you don't. I want, because it's good for the image. Because if Cristiano leaves at the end of the season, we still want people to watch Serie A. I suffered here in America from having 2 games a week instead of now ESPN having all the games for us because of the publicity of the league is bigger now. We need these big clubs to be big. I want to win the league every year from now until the next 10 years. But I also want Milan to play good. But for me, I'm telling every Milan fan, it's not going to happen relying on a 39 years old. This cannot happen. This is not soccer. This is not football. You cannot rely on a 39 years old to lead your team for the whole season. He was bound to get injured, right? Like it's a 39 years old playing in one of the toughest leagues in the world. He's not going to be fit for the whole season. They have a good squad. The young players are great, but I think they were not ready with that squad to win. And also Pioli is good coach. Let's just put it this way. He's like a good, he's not Conti or Allegri, or he's not a big coach. This is what I think Milan is. I feel for them to come fifth. This is what they need to think about. Do not think about the Scudetto. Think about coming fifth now. Like, don't do the Liverpool thing when they kept saying, we're still challenging for the league, eighth or seventh. And there's 11 games left, so they need to worry about that.
Look, fair enough. Alessandro, we're going over to you now, who's going to definitely echo my thoughts. Bro, I couldn't give a rat's ass if Milan come 5th, 6th, 7th, 17th, Serie B. I don't care whatsoever. I got too many family and friends that need reparations for giving me banter over the last few years, even though they're not and haven't been involved themselves. Now, look, I get what Mo's saying. It's very, very important for the league to stay on this trajectory because, you know, since Cristiano signed for the league, we have seen more of an attention on the Serie A, but the Serie A is becoming a little bit more competitive. And at the end of the day, if this fickle, superficial world can't attach itself to Inter or Milan when they're successful just because there's no big superstar there, you know, so be it. Cristiano is a one-of-a-kind marketing tool, and I don't know if someone's going to come past like him again, to be honest. Yeah, Alessandro, what are your thoughts on the rivals? How do you think they're going to? And what about this comment on the screen as well? Make sure you touch on that because it's a big fixture midweek for them.
Yeah, I want to start with Juve first. I have a couple of things to say. So first thing, I think the most important player for Juventus right now, other than Chiesa, is Chiellini. If Chiellini is not playing, they are in trouble. Second, Chiesa is, I think Pirlo switch Ronaldo with Chiesa, rightfully so, because that's important in the team. I mean, because he's young, he gives 200% for the team. He makes big plays, and if you look at the way Ronaldo score, most of the time is Chiesa they actually start the action and brings the goal. Another things on the Cagliari game, if Rugani marks Ronaldo as is going to mark Lukaku is gonna score 7 goals because I mean look, Rugani is an awful center back, but in that particular game it was just, you know, embarrassing. So I hope, if not Rugani, I hope Godin will do the same with Lukaku, just because, you know, we are ex-teammates. You know, Rugani is fine with Ronaldo, so Godin could be nice with Lukaku. I think it's just fair. Anyway, so yeah, Ronaldo scored 3 goals versus Cagliari. Is a hero. Is an awesome player, but then in Champions League was nowhere to be found. So again, not to worry about them. If Chiellini gets another injury or is tired or whatever, they're done. But we mentioned that before. I think rules are changing during this last part of Serie A because um, the attempted decapitation of the goalkeeper from Ronaldo. If it's not red card that one, I don't know what can be.
Yeah.
So I guess from now on, that's just yellow card. You can just try to kill somebody and it's just yellow card. And also, you can also ask to move the date of your game for no reason, and it's fine. You know, you don't want to play Juventus Napoli just for no reason because there is no reason. You ask, and the federation's like, sure, why not? Let's do that.
But
And
what's bizarre to me? Yeah, I'll let you finish, and then I'll go.
No, that was the last thing with the Juventus game. But yeah, basically what happened is that Napoli and Juve apparently they agreed to move the game to another day, and they said so to the Serie A committee or whatever, and they said, okay, sure, sounds fair. And it's like, and Roma and Milan, the other teams, they are fighting for a Champions League spot. They're saying like, wait a second, you should move the game just if you have a reason. What's the reason? And nobody's saying shit so far. So I guess it's just fine.
Yeah, as I was gonna say, is like let them keep delaying it every week. Let them play it at the end of the season when we've played 38 and they've played 37. And I don't see the point, bro.
Yeah,
Because the
whenever
way
you
I
guys
see it,
want it.
I'm looking at their fixtures as well, and I'm like, Juventus's schedule gets harder as it goes on. Why do they want to keep moving this game? It makes no sense to me. It looks like a bit of a power trip.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just because they can rest a little bit more. I don't know. There must be some reason. You just don't do that for no reason.
Yeah.
And then moving to Milan, really quickly, I just want to say, Rebic was sent off, straight red. I don't know if you guys read that, but basically he told the ref, can I say that?
Yeah, you can say what he said, man. I mean, it's all in
Okay.
context. I know what he said, so you can say it.
Basically, he said, I saw your mother working as a prostitute in Napoli, which I don't know how many days that will bring for Rebic not playing Serie A anymore. And Leao is injured, Ibrahimovic is injured, Mandzukic is injured. So I think maybe Pioli was right to complain. Last thing on Milan and how the Serie A is changing is Hernandez was complaining about the penalty that wasn't given, and I understand. But then going on social media and posting a picture of the ref with a comment like, I don't know if you guys saw that. He posted this comment on Instagram, I think, and then he removed it, but it was too late. So I was looking everywhere to find if there was any consequence for that, and so far I didn't see anything. So I guess now that's another thing that is legit to do. Everybody can do that, I guess. So I don't know, something weird, something weird is going on. But I agree with Mo. I'm not worried about Milan. And I think at the end of the day, Atalanta is definitely stronger than them. But between Napoli, Roma, and Lazio, I wouldn't know who to pick because um, probably if it wasn't for this crazy amount of penalty they got, probably they would not be in that position. Um, but you know, you never know. And on the other side, Napoli and Roma didn't do enough to deserve a better position. Because even if you look at Roma against Parma just this weekend was atrocious. So
Horrible.
I think Inter, Juve, and Atalanta for sure deserve Champions League, and then for the fourth spot is gonna be really whoever can do the least damage from here to the end of the Serie A.
Fair enough, man. And just to close this certain podcast for this evening, we skipped over the prediction for Sassuolo. I would agree with everything that the boys have said regarding the rivals. Let's see how the results go this weekend. So let's do a little bit more of a special sort of prediction this week. Let's pick the predictions for not only our game, but for a fair few games that are coming up on this next match day. So I'll start with you, Mo. Can you please give us your prediction for, obviously, Inter and Sassuolo? I know it's a little bit in hindsight considering Sassuolo have their game against Torino, which, I don't think we touched on enough, actually. Will definitely fatigue them, not only physically, but mentally, because I figure De Zerbi, who is not a shit coach, is a decent coach, will most likely be rallying his boys up saying, can we please get 3 points against Torino? And maybe, he hasn't really mentioned the Inter game yet. One game at a time, and geez, good luck recovering for us 3 days out after Torino, Mo. So Sassuolo, Inter. I would also like to know your pick for Juventus at home for Benevento, Milan away to Fiorentina, and Roma host Napoli on 6:30 a.m. Monday for me. Can you give us those predictions, bro?
3-1 for Inter, Juventus, Benevento 4-0, and Fiorentina, Milan 2-2, and Roma, Napoli 2-1, Napoli.
Very nice. Very slick. Alessandro, what about you, my friend?
So Inter, I agree, 3-1. What's the next game?
Juventus, Benevento in Turin.
Juventus, Benevento, 3-1. What's next?
Fiorentina hosts Milan.
Fiorentina, Milan, 2-0.
To who? Fiorentina?
And then Roma, Napoli.
To who? Roma or Fiorentina or Milan?
Fiorentina. Is Fiorentina Milan?
Yeah.
Yeah, they unlock Vlahovic, and Milan is playing with no strikers, so I hope
fair
2-0.
enough. And last one is Roma, Napoli at the Olimpico.
Roma, Napoli. That's a tough one. 2-2.
Nice one. I'm going to go 2-0 for us against Sassuolo. Another couple of goals for our forwards each will do the trick just fine. I will echo Mo. I think another 4 goals are coming for Juventus. But, I wouldn't be surprised if they buckle a little bit. As Indro Ari says, Benevento beat Juve 1-0 with Caprari goal. Ha ha ha. Super People Masterclass. Yes, we remember this result. We remember this goal very well. I don't think we'll be as fortunate this time around, but I'm going to say 4-1 to Juventus on that match there. I would have to agree with the boys. I don't think Milan's getting 3 points in this fixture. I think Vlahovic will be unlocked, and I'm actually going to go for 1-1. However, 2-1 to Fiorentina would be my second guess. But I'll go with 1-1 because Fiorentina have just been very disappointing this season, and it wouldn't surprise me to see them play well enough to win the game, but not win the game against Milan. And for the final big fixture, Roma and Napoli, that is a big one, man, especially for the top 4 race. Boys, it feels so good to not be in a race for a freaking 4th position, man. I can tell you that much right now. The embarrassment of switching from 4th to 6th on a weekly basis. I'm glad we're not having that. So I think Gattuso will have them fired up enough. For me, with Roma, losing Mkhitaryan for a month is a big deal because they don't have that much spark and quality to the point where they can afford to have him out for a duration of time. So I think that could be their downfall in this fixture right now, and I'm going to go 2-1 Napoli win away from home. We are tinkering on the point of 1 hour.
I need to change my prediction for the Fiorentina Milan. I go 2-1 because they need to have a penalty after last week.
Yeah,
so,
I know.
You know,
they're in June now.
Nice
they'll be lining up.
Milan, so 2-1.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming. All right. Well, to the brothers who have joined me, Alessandro and Mo. Mo, first of all, thank you so much once again. Keep doing your thing. If you're not following Mo on a personal level, please follow his Twitter handle. It's in his description at MomentAli7. Alessandro, it was really good to have you as well from San Francisco. I hope we talk again very, very soon. And boys, I just hope we keep gathering after positive result after positive result. So from myself and everyone at Inter Worldwide, ciao ragazzi, ciao Alessandro, ciao Mo.
Ciao, ciao.